Hi, this is Political News in 5, and today is September 25th, 2022. I'm Aisha Osori. Now, I'm starting this episode with the people who made the list for President and National Assembly elections that was released by INEC last week. On the presidential level, there are no surprises. We have 18 candidates, which is a big drop from the 79 candidates that ran in 2019. We have the youngest presidential candidate at 38 running under Accord. We have the youngest vice presidential candidate at 36 running from the Boot Party, don't ask. And there's one woman amongst the candidates. She's flying the ticket of the Allied People's Movement. Now, of the three privileged men whose candidacy to the Senate Political News in 5 has been tracking since the primaries, I'm happy to report that the current Senate President Ahmed Lawan did not make the list. It is unfortunate, though, that that space has been left blank, as if there's no candidate, when there was the winner, Bashir Machina. Now, on the side of Akpabio and Umahi, they both made the list by court order. In the case of Umahi, Anne Agom Eze, who won the primaries, has taken the matter to the Court of Appeal, so we await that judgment. We hope that she succeeds. It's unfortunate that out of the 1,101 candidates for the Senate in the 2023 elections, only 92, that's 8%, are women. In total, the 4,223 candidates running for president or for the National Assembly in various positions, only 9%, are women. Politics is difficult in Nigeria. Leadership is also quite hard, but can be rewarding. So we need more women running for office, and it would help if we can encourage more women to run and, of course, help them to win. Now, second thing I'm talking about are the presidential campaign teams. Now, last week, APC finally told us who would make up their own team, and I like the fact that there's a performing arts directorate as part of that team. It shows what dedication INEC has to acting. Now, General Muhammad Buhari is leading the campaign. There are about 422 people on the list that I've seen. I have to point out, though, that the number does jump mysteriously from 369 to 400, so some numbers are missing. This could be a Freudian slip. It could just also be the case of evidence of how those in power can never vote, can never count properly, and maybe when it comes to voting, they can never count those properly either. Now, Vice President Oshibajo is not on the list. This has raised some eyebrows. APC tells us that this is because they want the Vice President to focus on governance, which could be true, but the fact that Keyamo, a city minister, also has a full-time job as Tinubu spokesperson puts a bit of a lie to that. Besides, there's obviously no love lost between the two. That's Tinubu and Oshibajo, since Oshibajo contested the APC presidential primaries. Whatever the case, though, Oshibajo being on the campaign list, not on it, I don't think it makes much difference to APC's fortunes at the end of the day. Now, on the PDP side, Wike and his loyalists have said they're not going to be part of that Atiku campaign council that was released about a week and a half ago. Their reasons are they will not participate until Ayu, the national chairman for PDP, resigns his position. Now, of course, there have been lots of takes on this. Yes, it makes perfect sense to assess Atiku on how he handles this. Not just being able to bring people together, because sometimes you cannot bring people who do not want to be brought. But for me, how well he will follow and adhere to rules and regulations and the constitution of the country, how well he would take difficult decisions, how well he will bear the mantle of the responsibility for making those difficult decisions and thinking not only of the short term, but of the long term. Finally, I'll just say on this matter, the last thing, Wike reminds me of a quote that I can't really fully flesh out, which is something along the lines of the thrashings of an animal in the throes of death. Just meaning that, when your time is up, you do thrash around and struggle a bit harder. So that could be evidence of that. And another thing is just he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. And Wike says he's doing this for the sake of justice, but his own political determinations and manipulations would not bear this out if indeed that's what he's pushing for. And then finally, I'd like to talk about PVC collection and young people's votes. Last week, the National Industrial Court announced that it had made an order for ASU to call off its month-old strike. Now, This could have implications for PVC collection and voting. Why? Because students make up the largest block of new registrants, 4 million or 36% of the total new registrants. Now, if they go back to school, many of them would have registered at home because they've been at home since February 14th this year. Now, considering the insecurity and the cost of living crisis, how many of them will be able to afford to go back home to get their PVCs and then back home again when it's time to vote? Now, not saying ASU shouldn't call off its strike, but INEC and all well-meaning stakeholders need to start coming up with a plan on how to support this large group of voters to make sure that they can get their PVCs and they can vote on election day. Now, that's it for me on Political News in 5. If you haven't collected your PVC, please try and do so. Make a commitment to vote in the next general elections. Your vote is necessary if we want to change the political, social, and economic future of Nigeria. Have a great week ahead and stay tuned for more next week on Political News in 5. Bye.